I'm very grateful, first of all, to God to be here this morning. And I sincerely want to thank His Excellency, our President, because what we are doing here today, as the Inspector General has pointed out, is essentially President Kenyatta's signature on his 10-year reforms in the National Police Service. When in 2013, our President took the oath of office, none of us at that time had an idea that we would get here. This is the first time in the history of our country and in the history of the National Police Service that we are now training direct entry inspectors, graduates who are being trained to be commanders and leaders in the National Police Service. And so my first duty is to convey to you all the very sincere greetings and well wishes from our Commander-in-Chief and the Chairman of the National Security Council, His Excellency President Kenyatta. Two, is to explain briefly to all of us why here and the thought that went into this, so that we all are on the same page in terms of how we are moving forward. So that I also summarize the aspirations of both His Excellency the President and the National Security Council in moving the transformation of the police service such as we are doing now. For a long time, and it's good to speak candidly to each other, we have invested heavily in the National Police Service, in equipment, in personnel, in addressing the ratio of police to population. And we have invested in training in special groups that we've had in the police service, some that have done us so much proud because of the achievements they have registered, like the special forces teams that we have deployed along the borders of our country and some that are doing special duties across some of our difficult security regions. But in addition to the equipment, the terms of service, it was time, and the President, as he told the National Security Council, his mind was to now begin to deal with the software of the National Police Service, the people who run the National Police Service. So today, we start a journey. In the next 5 to 6 years, there will never be in Kenya senior police officers at the rank of inspector or commanding police stations and above who have not been trained through this cadet officers program. Because we want to change the manner in which we provide leadership, the manner in which we command the police service. Command and leadership are not mutually exclusive. We can be good commanders and also good leaders and good mentors. And people who guide the police officers who come to us in a manner that they are ready and they are psychologically prepared to police a modern country, knowing as they must at all times that they are servants of the people that they serve, knowing as they must at all times that our collective responsibility is to keep the country safe. That's why this course, that's why this new program, that is why we now have university graduate direct entry cadets that we are training. And in these numbers, I am so excited, and I honestly thank the Lord that I have had the privilege to see this in my life. We have medical doctors, we have engineers, we have IT graduates, we have B.Ed holders, we have people who have already done their first degree training in college. And now we're preparing you to use the skills you have acquired at university, in addition to the training that you'll get here, to deal with the complexities and the challenges of policing a new environment. Crime is dynamic. The challenges we face are dynamic. They have changed. providing security is no longer a matter of force or a matter of guns, a matter of our own capacity. It's now a matter of tact, skill, and the capacities that you bring along. In a highly changing world, such as we live in, we too are called upon now to acquire new capacities to police a digitized world, because crime is mobile. It's moving, to other sites, and we need to be ahead of it and acquire the skills to police the country and keep the country safe and secure in that particular environment. That's why I call this, and we all know in the security sector, that this is the signature of President Kenyatta's reforms in the police service. This is the icing on the cake, because after we have increased our capacities in terms of equipment, after we have increased our numbers, now is the time to pay very special attention to the capacities within. When we are done building our National Police Leadership Academy in Ngong that is coming up, we will probably be equal to no one in this continent in terms of the resources that we're acquiring to retool the leadership of the police service. We want you, men and women, when you live here, to go to the police stations and be leaders, be mentors, be able to work with communities where you are going to serve. Sit down and get the religious leaders of those communities, the political leaders of those communities, the social leaders of those communities, and work with them and build a solid collaboration with them to secure the country. Providing security is no longer a matter of threatening the people or beating up people or running around pushing people this way or that way. We have to change tact. Our society has changed and it's changing fast. Now is the time to essentially embed ourselves in communities and build sustainable relationships and acquire the skills and the knowledge that we need to keep those communities safe. And this requires rigorous training, this requires rigorous change. So my first announcement to you is this, which you probably have been told by now. It is not going to be easy. You have a team of solid instructors here, very experienced police officers. We are stepping up our management of the police service. And as we change, our target now is to look at the ecosystem within which we do the policing. That's why I like what I hear from the Inspector General, that we are going to give you responsibilities immediately you leave here to start managing those young boys and girls who graduate from here as police constables. That's why we are doing this. The way we used to do it in the past was good, but it cannot work anymore. We have to adopt a new way of doing this. And when you are given these men and women, you are supposed to manage them, guide them, lead them, mentor them, and work with them. That is why, in addition to the changes that we are making in training and capacity development, we have also been instructed by the President to look afresh at the ecosystem of police service across the country. And one thing that you're going to see, we put together a team. When the President gave us instructions about a month ago, we put together a small team led by Mr. Njega to look at how we will change several things in the manner in which we relate. For example, one thing that is going to change is gender relations and how we manage male-female relations in the security sector in the country. Subject to the clearance of the National Security Council, we will create a new office of ethics and gender relations directly under the Inspector General. Let me address this. It's an inconvenient truth, but it's something that is happening. We cannot look away anymore and not address some of the challenges we've had in the security sector, where, especially our female members of the service, some of them have complained about sexual harassment. Some of them have complained about mistreatment. We have investigated some of the cases, but because we did not have a stringent ecosystem, some things have fallen through the cracks. It will not happen that way in the future. We are looking into coming up with regulations, and we have agreed with the National Police Commission that we will look at the service standing orders afresh and strengthen this arrangement. We will adopt the system that has been adopted by the KDF, for example. You are officers. We do not expect you to live here and go to have affairs with your constables whom you are managing. When it gets to that point, one of you has to leave, because we must maintain a certain standard of conduct in the police service. We are even insisting to the Inspector General that cases of sexual harassment in the service will be orderly room proceedings type of cases, and the officers who are involved should be stripped of their ranks and gotten out of the service. We cannot hope that if we are not disciplined ourselves, we will be able to discipline those who work with us, and we will be able to offer competent and efficient services to our people. We can no longer live that way. So, as I said, it's not going to be easy. Even to the senior police officers, my colleagues who are seated here, I would like to break it to you. The President is very determined on this matter. And please, pull up your socks and tighten your belts. We are now beginning a phase of very, very stringent changes in the service and in the manner in which we go forward. We will not have a police service where some of our members feel mistreated, and some of our members feel treated as less of human beings. Dignity and integrity and respect for human rights, and the way in which we treat each other first, and then how we treat wananchi, is no longer going to be stuff that we talk about. It's stuff that we take very serious. The challenges we have faced in the police service recently, some of them including cases of relationships and so on, we can no longer talk about them, we will act about them. The Inspector General and I and several senior police officers have had several meetings recently. We've had discussions on this matter, and we will be before the National Security Council to submit the new, tighter framework of regulations that we have been asked to come up with to improve the service standing orders, so that the police service is going to be a place of dignity in terms of how we serve. It is understood, and this, as the IG referred to here earlier, that we must compete with and match the standards of others. The decency and the integrity that we expect in the service is not something that is unusual for us. Other people have measured up to that. KDF has had this rule, for example, about cross-rank marriages, and it has worked very well. We will draw the line at this point. We will not touch or affect those who are already married in the service across ranks. But IG and Chairman, we agreed with you that we will draw the line at this point. Senior police officers who opt to have affairs and relations with their junior police officers, and they want to marry them, one of them has to leave the service. We cannot continue this way. This is breeding indiscipline in the service and causing harassment on some of our police officers. And when this office is institutionalized, I hope IG, this will happen as soon as 1st of July, we will expect to look at this data on a regular basis so that we take care of the interests of our police officers. My last 2 points to you are going to be this. You are pioneers. You are the groundbreaking team of our brand new direct entry cadet officers or inspectors. Because of that, you have a special duty. Founders and pioneers usually have a special duty. You must raise up the standard so that you can continue to be the standard bearers of the quality of the new police officer we are looking for. We are looking for dedicated, committed, honest, and very respectful police officers, disciplined people who will know how to work not just with their colleagues, but work with other public officers to focus on the goal, which is to keep our country safe and secure and to make sure that we serve our people. So please, as you go through this 9-month course, bear in mind that as the founding class, as the initial program, a lot is going to be required and expected of you. We will look upon you, both when you are here and when you go out and begin the service, to raise up the standard of leadership and command in the police service. I am emphasizing leadership, mentoring the young people you are given, spending time with them, knowing them, and guiding them. We expect that you will be role models to them of what they should do and what they should aim to be as police officers. 2 is to make my commitment on behalf of my colleagues at the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government. Because this is something I know that is very close to the heart of my boss. The President wants us to change the police service and is committed to a modern police service that serves a modern Kenya, a modern dynamic environment. We will give it our all from the ministry. I have promised the Inspector General before and the Chairman of the Commission, and I do it again publicly, that we will support you. As the IG said, he and I are exploring opportunities for international exchanges, first to start with your class, so that you also, so that as part of your training, some of you will do a stint in other policing environments and interact with others, because we want to move our standards to the global level. We want the police officers who are going to manage our country as we move forward to measure up to the global standards of discipline, of integrity, and of commitment to service. We will do our best, and we will give you this. We will pull all the stops, and we will give you all our support to ensure that you get the training that you require. Finally, I ask all of us, especially our friends from the media and members of the public who are here, to understand one thing. It's not enough for us to change the police service and to invest in changing the police service. It takes all of us to keep our country safe. Each one of us has to play their part. It takes all of us, and all of us have to play our part. What we have seen from the media recently of attempted vilification, mass condemnation of the police and the security sector individuals is not only unfortunate, it's actually tragic, because many people don't know what police officers go through. Many of all those people who are criticizing police officers, liberally saying whatever they please to say about the police service, have no clue what our police officers are going through somewhere in Mandera, making sure that a terrorist does not escape a particular point and get to our population. Decent people, and civilization is not buildings and money and houses and everything. Civilization first begins with the way we think, and it begins with the mind. And I'm asking our colleagues, especially in the media, to also move forward, because we ourselves want to move forward, to also move forward and adopt an objective attitude and a respectful attitude towards our security forces. Because one journalist makes a mistake, or because one journalist is bribed, we don't condemn the entire media fraternity. Because one advocate squanders a client's money, we don't condemn the entirety of our legal profession. Or because one doctor makes a mistake and a patient dies in their hands, we do not condemn the entirety of our medical practice in the country. We know, because we are all human beings, that we would make mistakes. That's where we have codes of conduct. That's where we have service standing orders. Because we know that at some point as human beings, you may actually be tempted, and sometimes you may act outside of your powers. That's why we have these codes of conduct. We have ordered rule proceedings. We have service standing orders. So that those of us who make mistakes and go beyond the line are called to account. And we have those systems in the security service. They exist everywhere. They exist in the legal profession. We would report to the Law Society of Kenya, and the Law Society of Kenya would act on that lawyer who has squandered a client's money. We would go to the media council, or go to the media owners, or whatever structure we choose, so that the journalist who has made a mistake is called to account. We don't stand up and condemn the entirety of media practice in the country just because of the conduct of one media practitioner. But you know, we, unlike you, don't have a platform. Because you have a platform and we don't, you abuse it and liberally do whatever you do to condemn our security forces. Bear in mind one thing. As far as security is concerned and as a country, we are all seated in one boat. When it begins to sink, you will not float. So you have as much duty as we do to motivate, to respect, and to ensure that the dignity of our security service is preserved. Humiliating the police and disparaging the police is certainly not the way to go. If we are going to move forward as a family and as a society, we need to keep speaking to one another, respecting the laws that we have. Otherwise, if we don't, there is no society for you and society for us. We are all in the same society. We mess this one, it's the only society in which we live. So I urge all of us to respect the security sector. I speak for these people because I work with them on a day-to-day basis. I know some of them don't sleep. I know the sacrifices they make for our country, and therefore it pains me when I see some of the reckless things that some of our media people do against the police in this country. Let's observe the containment measures. My brothers and sisters, we are in a difficult place. Let's not pretend about it. I know people are complaining about the enforcement of containment measures. We have talked to all our police officers. We are doing our best. But please, bear this in mind. Keeping police officers at a roadblock, Mr. Mbowa will tell you here, for 24 hours is not a cup of tea. Every time when we have gone to sleep, those good people are at the roadblock for 8 hours. We're doing 3 shifts, 8 hours apiece at roadblocks. These men and women are dedicated to serve us. They want us to be alive. They're as much interested in your life as they are interested in their own lives. In most cases, they have given up their lives for us. How much more successful would we be as a country if we thought about each other and thought about the work of these police officers and spared a thought for these police officers who are making sacrifices to be at the roadblocks? Many countries around the world that have got these lockdowns, they don't have police officers on roadblocks telling people to go back. It's indeed common sense that it is about your life and the life of your family. Do you need police officers to sleep at roadblocks to tell you to be careful about COVID-19? But even then, when we do so, please, I urge you, particularly our friends from the Fourth Estate, let us spare a thought for these dedicated police officers who are committed, who have sacrificed and given their all for the service of our country and to keep us alive. We must thank the Lord, we in the security sector, that over a year of this enforcement, the Lord has been gracious to us. We've suffered some losses, but God has seen us through. We will continue to hold on and to do that which we must do to save our people. Finally, dear friends, it's very rare in the life of our country that you will be so blessed to witness a historic thing happening, such as we are witnessing today. Since 1963, when we became independent, we never took the training and the preparation of police officers to this level. And to use the words of President Kenyatta, nothing will replace preparation. We are preparing the police service for the future. And as we do so, let's go forth with pride and commitment and thank the Lord for the great country that He has given us and serve it with dedication and move on and join the Inspector General and his team in transforming the National Police Service through the training such as we have here. I wish you all the best. I wish you the Lord's blessings as you are here. And I hope, by the grace of God, we will see you 8 months down the road when you will be ready and prepared to take up your new responsibilities and to take up your place in the service of our great country. And it's now my humble duty and pleasure to declare the direct entry Cadet Inspectors Course #1 officially launched. Thank you.